Wash all your cracks and crevices so you can go to heaven's, so Jesus won't be mad. I didn't take a shower for a month, so you don't have to. Written by our good friend Ethan Ralph is Fat. Welcome him back to the channel, everybody. Hello, one and all. Welcome to a tale of a man pushing his body in unhealthy directions merely for the sake of saving other people from the same fate. Now this is real science, man. This is boots on the ground type of stuff. I approve. See, I was curious what would happen if I didn't shower for a month. For this experiment, I set the following parameters. I was allowed to wash my hands and use hand sanitizer. I was allowed to clean my butt with a bidet for what I assume are obvious reasons. Yeah, so you could get that deep clean. No more poo-poo stink on your doo-doo paper, right? For those who don't see the obvious reason, the answer is no one wants to be an adult with diaper rash. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a thing that could happen, I guess. I was allowed 5 pairs of clothes to wear that would remain unwashed until this period was over. Jesus, dude, you're really going hardcore. You didn't have to do the clothes. You're gonna smell so horrible. This gave me enough variety to not seem like I was wearing the same clothes every single day. I also allowed myself to comb my hair, as its thickness and texture is prone to knotting, and I didn't want to have to chop off all my hair when this was all over. Deodorant was initially not allowed, but after a week and a half, I was trying to find any way to mitigate the smell of BO. Finally, I allowed myself to conduct other basic hygiene as normal. Brushing my teeth, trimming my nails, etc. was allowed. Yeah, you don't want to sacrifice the health of your teeth for a month. You only got one set, okay? I think that's a good rule. And I'm not surprised at all that the BO thing, I'm surprised you last a week and a half, honestly. That's very hardcore. I get to the second day, I'm about to knock myself out. So let us start first with the prep. Parameters, preparation. Yeah, we are really sciencey today. In preparation for all of this, I visited with my doctor and asked if there was any real risk to my health should I decide to go through with this endeavor. She was squicked out by my odd, self-induced human experiment, but she said that I would most likely be fine. She also wrote that down in your chart, just so you know. Though, my doctor did recommend that I use Neosporin on any cuts I received during this process, as my chances of skin infection would be more likely if I were to receive any breaks or tears in my skin. My doctor conducted a basic physical after this, as it was time for my annual checkup anyways, and I went on my way. Okay, good, we got some doctoral insight. Do this to avoid gangrene. Thanks so much. I picked a variety of clothes that I thought could weather this trial. This included every article of clothing you can imagine. I'll not go into detail about my wardrobe, just suffice to say, yes, there was only 5 of everything. Everything! I mean, 5 underwears, you know, you flip them inside out. They're good for another week. It's fine. Are you also talking about like only 5 socks too? You know what? It's not important. Days 1 through 5. These were the easiest days, due to the fact that I had at least 5 pairs of clothing, and as long as you have clean clothes, the problem that is slowly building is not as noticeable. By day 2 though, there was a fairly obvious degree of body odor developing, especially from my armpits. Honestly, I had thought that shaving the hair would have granted me a longer reprieve from body odor, but I was mistaken. Yeah, day 2, that's about my limit as well. That I'm like, oh Jesus, what have I let myself become? I don't know why I thought that would work, but now we know. Yeah, the bacteria is in your skin, son. Hair removal is not an effective body odor preventer. Well, so much for the Manscaped sponsorship. It was around this time that I really wished that I would have stipulated allowing shotgun sink showers, because that would have been a great reprieve. This scent grew more and more obvious as time passed, starting faint and quickly escalating to a smell that easily escaped from under the collar of my shirt anytime I moved my arm. Yeah, right up into your face. Oh, it would waft up and harass my sinus cavities. You would think after a while you would go nose blind to your own stink, but you don't. I mean, maybe others can, but I definitely can't. I guarantee you are at least partially nose blind, okay? This stink is worse to other people than it is to you. I guarantee that much. Sometimes when I would use the restroom, I would stare wistfully at my shower, looking upon it as though it were a long-lost love or an old friend returned to life, only to turn my back on that beautiful water dispersal device. As I walked away, I would think to myself, soon. Yeah, only 25 days to go. You got this, bro. Direct notes from journal. Day 2. You know how I didn't make a rule against using Febreze or perfume? Would it be cheating if I used those? I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, but yes. How much would I have to use to cover up the pit stink? I'm assuming enough that it's not a financially insignificant investment. Jeez, you really don't realize how much of everything reeks of cigarettes until you notice it building up. My hair smells like an ashtray. I probably should have quit smoking for this. It's definitely gonna become a compounding problem. Well, this is for science, or something vaguely resembling science at the very least. A vague resemblance is all we need. It's fine. Contains trace amounts of real science. It's fine. Day 5. My scalp is so itchy today. I hate it. I scratch in this disgusting, greasy conglomeration of what I assume is dead skin and secretions sticks under my nails. Gotta wash my hands twice just to get it off. But scratching doesn't even stop the itching. I am a lot itchier than normal, I think. And the more you concentrate on it, the worse it's gonna get. That's how beards get through it. They're just completely oblivious. Does my neck usually itch this much during the day? I could just be hyper-focusing on it. Maybe I just need to stop scratching. My body will probably acclimatize, I think. To a point, yeah, you'd probably be fine. But I do have to say, even hearing you describe it, I think I'm getting itchy too. I don't like it. Days 6 to 11. It is around this time that my scalp becomes really itchy, and I am vaguely concerned about a possible lice infestation on my head. Though I find no evidence of this, I also notice around day 7 that my skin is occasionally developing small blemishes in sporadic locations, specifically in the pit of my elbow and on my forehead, which has started developing a greasy sheen. I hate it. I am now alternating clothes that have already been worn. I'm allowing myself to air my dirty laundry, literally, in hopes that this would make them less stinky as time progressed. I mean, sunlight kinda works, but I don't think those clothes are ever gonna be fully okay ever again. We gotta get rid of them after this experiment. You did get rid of them after the experiment, didn't you? The feeling of putting on pre-worn underwear as though they are clean is still a nightmare that I have occasionally. That's against nature and God and science and everything. Why are you doing this? It feels wrong. The same goes for crunchy socks that were now developing a noticeable but not yet overpowering odor. Yeah, that nice corn chip smell. God. Around day 8, I noticed that not only had the undersides of my arms started developing a weird grayish discoloration, but so had my sheets, which had remained unwashed during this experiment. I guess that's why beards have sheets with pictures of cartoons on it, so you can't tell how truly dirty it is. It looked as though I had gotten liquid graphite on myself at some point, and it had gotten smeared around in my sleep. I think the sheets are suffering most of all, aren't they? At least the clothes get like a little 4-day break before being used again, but the sheets are just getting it for 30 days. Terrifying. This only grew darker, both of my arms, legs, and sheets going into days 10 and 11. Around day 9 and 10, I began to notice an unpleasant, vinegar-like aroma arising from my groin region when taking off my clothes for bed. Oh, it's starting to ferment. Dude. This new unpleasant smell joined the symphony of bad smells that were now my armpits, hair, and general body dirt and sweat. I was not having fun. The remedy for this was very simple. Just go get into the shower. Not yet, though. Soon. On day 11, I broke, and I began applying deodorant in an attempt to stifle the smell of my reeking pits. It was only somewhat effective. Apparently, the deodorant just can't do everything, but it did help for about 2 hours of every day. And God, that deodorant fought like hell for those 2 hours, you know? Thank you for your sacrifice, soldier. As I recycled clothes again, I noticed that my clothing was beginning to fade and collect the grayish stains that now occupied sections of my body. They also seemed heavier and stiffer. This is such an accurate description, man. If you're noticing any of those things, please go hop in the shower. Please go wash your clothes. I promise you're gonna feel a lot better after, okay? I'll even talk to you while you're in the shower if you want. Michael Jordan got me on this one, right, Michael?
Stop it. Get some help.
Even my pants were collecting odd stains. It was raining on day 11, and as I walked to the car that day, some rainwater cascaded from my hair into one of my eyes. Oops. It stung so bad that I swore and punched my mailbox. Desperately, I got into my car and tried to remove the stinging hair water from my eye with my shirt. Stinging hair water. It's gotta be toxins from the cigarette smoke, or do you gel? He's got long hair, he probably doesn't gel. But okay, suffice it to say that this is not a normal situation. Somehow wiping the water away with the shirt only compounded the issue, because your clothes are covered in the same stuff. Now you've gotten it wet, it's all over. There I sat in mild irritation, both internally and externally. I kept my eye closed for quite a while, the stinging causing my sealed eyelid to twitch involuntarily as my body tried to clear the irritation by activating that eye's tear duct. No tear duct, no! You're only getting it wet again! But I assume it did clear itself eventually. And here are some direct notes from the journal. Day 8. These stains on my skin are absolutely insane. I googled what it probably was, and it's apparently body dirt. Apparently, you get enough of it caked on, and it sort of takes on this gray color. Fantastic. Thankfully, I can hide that with hoodies, but that causes me to sweat. This causes the body dirt to become streaky and spread more easily at night. I'm gonna have to throw away my sheets by the time this is done. Honestly, well advised. I hope they weren't nice sheets. Go down to Kmart, get yourself a pair of them 8-count thread sheets. Those are the ones we're supposed to ruin, not the Egyptian cotton. Come on. Day 11. What the hell does my hair secrete that makes it turn rainwater into pepper spray? Ash, soot, nicotine. It's all in your hair. Is it the cigarette smoke caught on my hair, or is it the sweat and dead skin caking on my scalp? Why not both? It was just instantly painful. There was no delay between the raindrop cascading off my hair into my eye and the immediate sensation of pain. I hate this so much. Why did I commit to this stupid idea? No one should choose this. How the hell do neckbeards and neats survive? This is like torture. Only 19 more days. Yeah, you're 1/3 of the way there. You got this. I cannot wait. I'm just gonna go sit in the shower for hours. Probably gonna have to use lava soap to scrub all this off. Maybe just grab a handful of sand and use that. Oh well, problems for future me to try and figure out. I think that does bring up an interesting question. How do neckbeards and neets just accept this as a fact of life when really it would only take like maybe 5-10 minutes to turn it all around? You'll feel so much better, I promise you. Whenever I'm feeling down, a shower always helps. Clean your brain, clean your mind. One day I'll have to try this experiment for myself, but I don't think it's gonna be as eloquent. I'll probably bail. I'll be like, you know what? No, not this anymore. Like, I could probably get used to my own brand. I could learn to love the pit stink. But the itchy and the sticky and the humid weather in the Philippines, oh God, waking nightmare. Anyways, we're on into days 12 through 17, halfway point, high five. No new symptoms really arose from my lack of bathing, but people were definitely noticing the stink that I was putting off. Imagine if you didn't brush your teeth like that. This is some heavy cringe of a different caliber, isn't it? No one said anything, seemingly either too uncomfortable or polite to point it out point blank. Oddly enough, though, this didn't seem to really affect my interactions with strangers. I thought at least strangers would be rude enough to tell me that I stank. Oddly, though, that interaction has not come. I wouldn't tell a stranger that they stink either. I'll tell the people that I love out of my love for them. I'm willing to have this awkward interaction because I care this much. It's a loving thing. Why you gotta be all self-conscious deep down? I'm gonna go ask my wife to tell me that my armpits stink right now. She probably won't be lying either. This was a eureka moment for me. I couldn't really think of a time in my life when I outright told someone that they stink unless they had the smell of an infection about them. Has that happened? You just see gangrenous people walking around? Excuse me, sir, you smell like rotting meat. Could you not anymore? Maybe it's all part of the social contract. It definitely is. We should really amend that, because it's at least proactive to tell someone that they smell bad. They probably won't take the hint, or they will cope hard and seethe hard. But we should at least try, shouldn't we? I'll be honest with you, it seems like a good idea on paper, but I don't want to interact with anybody that I don't explicitly have to. I'll stick with my version of the social contract. I'll tell the people that I care about. Continuing on, around day 15, my mental health was deeply declining. I have a panic disorder, and that is well managed, but I don't usually struggle with depression. However, I was definitely feeling a sort of mental malaise cast over my perspective of the world. How did it take this long? How is it not already all-consuming? This is so terrifying. Normally, OP says I would microdose to do some sort of neural reset, but I denied myself that, contemplating that it might go poorly or somehow rewire me to be okay with being unwashed. God damn, dude. A fate worse than death. On day 17, I awoke, and as I sat up, I smelled a new horrific smell emanating from somewhere on my person. It smelled like rancid feta cheese, and it disgusted me. Then I noticed an odd pressure in my belly button, and subconsciously began digging in there. Out came a disgusting conglomeration of wet fabric lint that had been wafting around my room that awful smell. I almost retched as I went into the washroom and cleansed my hands. However, the smell stuck to them, so I washed them several more times, eventually taking the green, coarse part of the sponge to them, trying to remove the flesh that seemed to be permanently stained with that said fetid smell. Dude, what the hell was that? The belly button goblins put something stinky in there to prank you when you woke up? I mean, belly button lint's definitely a thing, but why does it smell this bad? I'm certain I had cleansed every last inch of my hands, but I could still smell it.
You stink, Palmer.
I don't know if it was just in my head or if it was the kind of stink that you can't wash off, but it persisted, and it almost caused a slight panic attack. What if I smell like this forever? My mind feverishly thought over and over again. I mean, nothing lasts forever. Eventually, they'll bury you and you'll smell like either ash or the dirt. I don't know if that's better. Do you find that at all comforting? I'm trying to help here. Here are some more direct notes from the journal. Day 13. I really thought someone would have said something by now about this smell coming off of me. I smell like a damn swamp monster. I kind of wish that someone would. Maybe I'd get off this crazy ride early if someone said something. Anything. I wonder if this is what happens to neckbeards. Maybe they just smell bad for attention? I don't know. This was definitely a mistake, but I will finish what I start. The skin on my hands is getting really dry and scaly. I could probably use lotion. That's fine, right? I assume neckbeards get enough lotion by proxy when they watch their tentacle flicks, so should be okay. You know what? Given the nature of this experiment, I'm gonna go ahead and allow that one. I don't think neckbeards do it for attention. Maybe they are just that unaware. Their escapism, their disconnect is level 100. And since nobody told them directly to their face, they just keep on carrying on. Day 17. I literally just wrote the lyrics for Lonely Day by System of a Down here. I don't remember why. The most loneliest day of my life. The most grossiest day of my life. It was gonna be a parody song, you just didn't finish it. It's fine, I'll finish it for you. Days 18 to 23. Whew, home stretch kinda. I was hating waking up in the morning, and I had begun sleeping more. I did not like being in my body at this point. And still, you persist for science! I think this is the only actual science, the first real experiment that's been done on the channel. And of course it was ERIF. He's an innovator! Look at him go, goddammit. I had to throw away one of my favorite yellow t-shirts due to the staining that the body dirt had deposited on the collars and the sleeves. The small gray smears on my once beloved red sheets had become a large gray smudge of amorphous shape. Hey, that's my amorphous shape! The ends of my hoodie sleeves had developed a thick, tar-like staining, probably from rubbing against my skin when they were rolled up. People definitely seemed to be avoiding me. They weren't outright rude, just very curt. They probably thought you were homeless or something like that. They're just like, okay, he's in a bad way, you know? Let's not make it any harder on the guy. It was a sort of, if we have to interact with you, then we'll interact with you situation. My hair now looked completely fried, even when tied back. I would randomly develop small rashes on sensitive areas of my skin and arms and torso that itched and lasted for no more than a few hours. That's why I carry around a fork to scratch those really itchy itches. It's fine. It's not the descent into madness. Really, the only thing we are missing here is that fetid cum smell. Thankfully, ERIF isn't the coom brain sort. It could be another layer to the experiment, but I would never ask you to do this again. This is horrible. I had phantom rashes just popping up and going away. This could have been due to an allergy to something that my body had picked up in its travels, or maybe just a reaction to the growing volume of dirt. Every body odor imaginable existed. Cigarette poisoned hair, armpits that now had a smell so strong that there was really nothing that could alleviate the smell. Using deodorant without washing your pits apparently just creates a cake of yellowing, dried scum. Oh god, dude. It's a lot for me to take in right now. Oh! The smell of my unwashed sock. Oh, here we go. It's getting real bad. was able to escape my boots at times, assaulting my nose with a swampy funk. I basically had a 10-foot radius of putrid stink. I felt miserable and depressed. I was no good to anyone during this time. The once reliable ERIF was neglecting their friends and was wallowing away the hours in a hell of their own creation. And for what? What was the point of any of this? Yeah, we got some good YouTube content out of it, yay!
Joke's on you, I'm into that shit!
Please like and subscribe for ERIF's mental suffering. He might not have benefited from this experiment, but I definitely did. Really, I'm so sorry this happened to you, dude. You could have bailed. I wouldn't have blamed you if you said halfway through I couldn't take it anymore. But he's not going to. He's not that type of dude. Why did I decide to do this? I guess because we're pretty good friends and you like me for some reason. At some point, a mental fog had descended on me. A never-ending disdain for my own existence had clouded my once clear head. All I could do was hate. And that reminded me in time of what the point was. Did the cessation of bathing have this effect on my mind? Apparently, it had a strong enough effect to turn my very baseline to one of seething rage with absolutely no discretion. But there is no way for me to imply causation, because I went into this with healthy bathing habits to begin with. But I still thought that there might be something there. I mean, it's not really chicken and the egg. Truth is, it's a vicious cycle all the way down. But this is starting to get very interesting and science-y. Contains trace amounts of science. It's a new tagline. You guys are gonna love it. Here's some direct notes from the journal. Day 23. Just 6 more days. 6 more days of this living hell. I could deal with that, probably. I haven't felt the breeze against my skin in days now because of all the grunge between me and the world. But it's fine. It's fine.
This is fine.
Days 24 to 30. What more can I say about these days? I had completely drawn within on myself, my mind filled with insecurities about the ungodly stink and the disgusting state of my skin and hair. Every crevice of my body itched to some degree. And if I dared to scratch, then the itching would only intensify half the time. I had begun stress-eating junk food, thinking that it might take the edge off of my depression. It didn't work, but I did end up putting on about 10 pounds during this specific month. God, there's so much correlation here. You're right, we can't say causation quite yet, but I don't know. If we get a bigger sample size to torture themselves, nah, that's a terrible idea. I'm not sure if any of this was just dirt accumulation, but some of it was definitely fat. I barely recognize myself, since I often took a lot of care of my appearance. I often thought that I'd be fine just dropping dead, or maybe that the entire world should drop dead around me. It was a dark hole for me, one that I desperately needed to get out of. These are the darkest days, gentlemen, but right around the corner, you're gonna have a rebirth. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. You'll step out of that shower and a choir of angels will sing. So on day 30, I called it. There were 31 days in that month, but my cell phone provider bills me every 30 days for my monthly plan, so whatever, fuck it. I took the longest shower that I had ever taken in my life that night. I must have scrubbed my body 3 times until my skin was pink. A small patch of gray, scaly dermatitis neglecta had developed on one of my elbows and bled where some of the skin came off with the caked on skin cells and dirt. I didn't care. This new skin would at least be clean. An OP currently in the Twitch chat with us, and he says this process took around 3 hours. It is quite literally a rebirth situation. New skin, new me. A few days later, I had a visit with my doctor as some of the itching continued. Turns out I had developed jock itch and athlete's foot to the degree that I required medication. Where the hell did you get those? Is that something that just sporadically happens? Or you just have like some surprises waiting for you in your shower that take hold if you don't use the shower? Someone should really say something about the price of antifungals. Yeah, fucking price gougers. There, I did what I could. I tried to wash the clothes that I didn't just throw away, and I found something interesting. No matter how many times I wash them now, they always come out greasy and seemingly infused with dead skin cells. Those clothes, along with my sheets, went right in the trash. A stain on my mattress still exists from the damage that my disgusting body had done to those sheets. It had apparently seeped right through into the actual mattress. Its existence is a depressing reminder of this experience. Jesus, man, now I owe you money for a mattress and all this stuff. Experiments aren't easy to run, you know? I should have picked a cheaper field of study. Soon after, I returned to regular showering. My sleep cycle also returned to normal, and a month of calorie deficit removed that excess 10 pounds. It took me a good 2 weeks to get back to my normal. I was grateful when my normality returned, and I was able to go over my journal and try to piece together my findings, which have all been outlined thus far. So what is the conclusion of this? I don't know, man, we didn't really set up a hypothesis. Or no, wait, our hypothesis was chicken and the egg, and I say it holds water. I honestly could not make an honest conclusion from this since the experiment was only on myself. I will say personally that I did not like being dirty. I did not like smelling bad. I did not like getting infested with fungi. That's not ideal. I personally believe on some level that this must apply to everyone. Our society, for the most part, does expect us to maintain some level of personal hygiene. I think that the world reacts to that we subconsciously ignore and shun those who don't smell the best, and I think I felt some of that. Is this the true Neckbeard experience? I mean, I couldn't say. I do know that I did develop a non-zero amount of misanthropy during this time, and if misanthropy is the river that runs into Neckbeard Lake, then surely there is a connection. Though I still feel as though there's more to explore. Nah, you've done your time. It's time to pack it in. We thank you for your sacrifice. You needn't offer more. It had been a while since I had done this, and I know it is incredibly gross and stupid. I expect to get some flack on this one, and I welcome it. Sometimes I go too far, like we might have done with the pictures in this episode. But you know, I think some visual accompaniment is important every once in a while. And if you're listening to it on podcast, well, go check out the video on YouTube if you want to be horrified. I think that I might have gone too far this time around. That being said though, it's far enough in the past that I don't feel as self-conscious posting this self-induced psychotic break. Maybe it'll help someone realize that they should take more showers. If it helps even one person to do that, it's worth it. Honestly, I kinda need a shower after this whole thing. I know that this was maybe not everyone's cup of tea, either because it's gross or possibly masochistic, but if you made it to the end, thanks for joining me on this journey. Make sure to join me next time when I eat nothing but beard food for a month. Not as bad as not showering, but still physically and spiritually taxing. Thanks for reading. I hope you like tendies, man. That sounds like quite an undertaking. This could be like a cool sub-series or something, but it's not necessarily that I want to encourage multiple people to do. We're supposed to be fixing people, not giving them the gateway to bearddom, right? But I still find it really fascinating, and yeah, I thank you for bringing your findings to us. It's all really big brain stuff, even if we're just kind of pretending at science. It is deeply fascinating to get into, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, you know, follow me on the social medias. That's super important to stay in touch. We've also got my Patreon patrons, my YouTube channel members. There's also a thanks button down there. One of your dollars is worth like 4 or 5 of mine. Go ahead and extrapolate that, you know? If you can support, I appreciate it. If you can't, don't sweat it too hard. You supported just by coming and hanging out, didn't you? And I hope you'll come on back and see what we're working on for tomorrow. Keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, and always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it. So please go take a shower. And until the next time, bye-bye.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.